and the truth get exposed. Let's talk about it. X-RAYTED Sports Network. If it's game time talk, we the ones who connect. X-RAYTED Sports Network. Where the hot takes live and the truth get checked. East Coast talk, West Coast swagger. Stats on the board, yeah, the debate get louder. No filter talk, yeah, we calling the play. If it's sports conversation, we leading the way. From the hardwood to the gridiron plays. Breaking every matchup, every headline debate. X-RAYTED Sports Network.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the X-Rated Sports Network's flagship show, Beyond the Surface. It is Rick Kamla. It is Ashley Neville. We will have Dwight Walton soon. Dr. X, his whereabouts are unknown right now. He's safe. I do want you to know that. And he's got this, obviously a lot going on. A lot of us are flying to Vegas and traveling and commuting to Vegas on this Sunday, the 12th, to cover the Gotham City Bockers at the TBT, the basketball tournament. We're all pumped about that. Ashley, what's up, man? How's the last week been for you? A lot of news going on.
There's been, I don't even know where to start. But this is what we love about free agency, right? Basketball never stops. Everyone asks me, what are you going to do when the season's over? What do you mean when the season's over? It's never over. Because you get free agency, we get the draft, obviously, and then we get NBA Summer League, and then it's off-season workouts and all the runs and trades still happening. So there's just always so much going on. But yeah, 4th of July was good. It's really hot out here, so I was in the pool. But yeah, besides that, everything's been great.
Indeed. And we have World Cup to talk about. We are going to talk about the World Cup today. We have the WNBA to talk about. We'll talk a little Caitlin Clark. We'll talk all-star snubs over there. Obviously, we're predominantly an NBA show. We do cover other sports. So we will tap into the soccer vein here in just a little bit and juxtapose World Cup fans against Knicks fans. And I think it's going to get interesting. So our first topic, speaking of the Knicks, Ashley, is Jalen Brunson. And the question is the Knicks repeat in jeopardy with the Brunson surgery? He underwent surgery on his left wrist on Tuesday. He's expected to return to basketball activities later this summer. It's unconfirmed exactly when that's going to be. It's going to be at least 2 months of rehabilitation for Jalen Brunson. We are at July 9th right now. Okay, so July 7th, he had the surgery. At least 2 months from July 7th is early September, okay? You see where I'm going with this.
Yes.
This has me a little worried and a little concerned. He obviously played through the left wrist injury to help the Knicks win their first championship in 53 years. I'm not saying the Knicks can't win a championship or won't win a championship. I do believe, though, that this Brunson surgery does jeopardize the Knicks repeat. Here's why. It's already hard enough to repeat in today's NBA, the era of parity. We've had, I think, 8 straight, without a repeat. So you don't need your best player rehabbing surgery, completely jacking up his offseason. Oh, by the way, it's his shooting hand, okay? So I'm getting Jalen Williams vibrations here. That's not good. Remember, J-Dub helped the Thunder win the 2025 ring, playing through a completely torn scapholunate ligament in his shooting right wrist. Underwent surgery, ligament repair. All right. He had surgery in July of 2025. Brunson had surgery in July of 2026. Williams had a follow-up procedure in October. Hopefully, Brunson does not need that. As a result of the surgeries, Williams missed the first 19 games of the regular season. 19, okay? That's a quarter of the season. All of the surgeries and rehab led J-Dub to, in my opinion, fall out of shape or fall out of tip-top shape. Hamstring issues all year. J-Dub missed a total of 36 games with hammy issues on the right and left, okay? And you remember the left hamstring is what caused him to miss Game 7 against the San Antonio Spurs. Thank you, though, for giving it a shot in Game 6, J-Dub. Luka, of course, would never do that. Just because J-Dub fell into an injury trap doesn't mean that Brunson will, okay? That said, there are a lot of similarities between the two situations. I'm not concerned, Ashley, in our audience, about Brunson's left wrist healing properly, okay? I'm not concerned that it's going to jack up his shot. I'm not concerned about any of that. My concern is the disrupted workout regimen, which often leads to players falling out of peak condition, all right? And then that leads to soft tissue injuries. That is what happened to J-Dub. We literally saw it play out in front of our eyes just a couple of months ago. Brunson is the toughest dude in the league, so he will play through stuff, Luka. But the Knicks need Brunson to be 100% in April, May, and June. And right now, that's not a given the offseason that Jalen Brunson is having right now. My answer, Ashley, is yes. This does jeopardize the Knicks' repeat. Where are you at with this as we have Dwight Walton and B-Dot with us as well? Let's go, gang.
I personally think that it's going to affect. I don't know if the wrist injury is necessarily going to affect their chances. I just think because the East has gotten better, it's automatically going to affect their chances of going back to back. And like you said, the parity in the league is definitely different than it was years ago. We haven't seen a team repeat since the Golden State Warriors in 2018. So Jalen's played through injury before. I think he'll be okay by the start of the season. And again, we saw them kind of coasting last season anyway, right? They were trying different lineups, trying new schemes. We all kind of counted them out, I would say, except Dr. X, of course. But the rest of us were actually, I think, a little bit shocked at them being able to get all the way to the finals and win. I didn't expect it. So even if Jalen's not ready to go and doesn't play his best basketball until, I don't know, after the All-Star break, they're fine. But it's more about how much the East has changed, how much the West has changed, to where I think that's going to make more of an impact in them not making it back to the finals next year.
All right. I love the take. Dwight Walton, you're up next. The Jalen Brunson surgery, does it jeopardize the Knicks repeat for you at all? Talk to us.
The Knicks' chances of repeating, Rick, were in jeopardy regardless if Jalen Brunson had wrist surgery or not this offseason. Just simply based on the fact that we haven't had a repeat champion since the 2018 season when Kevin Durant did it back-to-back with the Golden State Warriors. And I don't want to upset my fellow Canadian fans and the Toronto Raptors fans by saying, had Kevin Durant been healthy that third season, they would have won 3 in a row, and we would be having a completely different conversation. But to Ashley's point, and to everybody's point that follows the NBA, this current CBA has accomplished its goal. I'm happy with what the CBA has accomplished. There is parity across the NBA. The Knicks are primed to repeat as champions next season, but we have to understand the dynamics of what allowed the Knicks to win a championship this past season. They were relatively healthy, the Jalen Brunson wrist injury notwithstanding. There were some circumstances throughout their playoff journey this past spring and into early summer where they faced some teams that weren't fully healthy. Even the teams in the Western Conference weren't fully healthy. So with this Brunson injury now coming in to the next season, is this the Knicks' turn, or karma, if you will, which I don't really believe in much? Is it their turn to have the injury bug this season? And the Eastern Conference, whether we think it's great or not, I believe from top to bottom is the better conference than the Western Conference. Now, Oklahoma City and San Antonio, they're the 2 best teams of the NBA as far as I'm concerned. So they skew the market in terms of how we view the Western Conference and the Eastern Conference overall. But to answer the question, the Knicks' season was going to be in jeopardy regardless. It's too tough to repeat. The loss of Mitchell Robinson is going to hurt a lot more than we think. Andre Drummond may be the overall better player, if you want to put it that way. And yes, he's extended his range to taking 96 3-pointers last season. We get it. But does he bring the same intensity? Does he bring the same rebounding prowess? Although Andre Drummond is one of the best rebounders in NBA history statistically. But not all rebounds are created equal. Mitchell Robinson goes after the offensive glass. I'm not sure if Andre Drummond goes after the offensive glass. getting Alvarado and Landry Shamet back into the fold and adding Andre Drummond, sure, it's great. And yes, you still have the starting five with the Knicks. But I think just under circumstances, the new CBA, the parity, and the luck of the draw in terms of injury, I think the Knicks' chances of repeating next season were in jeopardy, regardless of this new news information in regards to Jalen Brunson's injured wrist.
Andre Drummond is about to just pack on Dwight Walton right now and show you what's up next year. Andre, get him, man. There he is. Tell him, Dre. Tell him, Big Dre from Money Earning Mount Vernon. All right, B-Dot, let's go, man. Does the Brunson surgery for you, because Ashley and Dwight are talking about that and other circumstances. You can take it anywhere you want to go, but is the Brunson surgery having you think, man, I don't know, maybe they won't repeat now? Talk to me.
No, I don't think so. Brunson's a tough guy. It's the NBA. They have the best training, best trainers, best doctors in the world. So in terms of him coming back, rehabbing, and like Ashley said, last year they were, I want to say coasting, but they did what they needed to do to be healthy in the playoffs. Had the third, fourth seed coming into the playoffs. They need to be the number one seed, and they're still the team to beat unless the Sixers get LeBron, or even if the Cavs get LeBron. I still think the Knicks are still the team to beat in the East. And to my co-panelists, to their points, it's tough to repeat in the NBA, no matter if you're on the East or the West. Like you said, they haven't repeated since the Golden State Warriors. So I think that's just going to be tough in general. But overall, I don't think the injury puts their repeat in jeopardy, because Brunson's going to get it done regardless. Broken wrist, broken neck, broken foot. This is the captain. This is Spider-Man right here of the state of New York, and he will figure it out. And I think once again they will go deep in the playoffs. They will go deep in the East, and we'll see if they end up in the finals again. Like I said, depending on the moves, all the moves the East makes. But at the end of the day, the Knicks are still the team to beat. But it's going to be tough to repeat. But I don't think it's going to jeopardize their chance at all.
Yo, Rick, before you chime in, Rick, if you notice, Dot didn't say torn hamstring. He said broken wrist, broken foot. He referred to a lot of stuff that weren't pertinent to anything. So listen, I know a torn hamstring is the bane of your season in terms of Luka Doncic, Rick, but a torn hamstring is different than wrist surgery. Trust me. An injury is an injury, but a hamstring is very, very sensitive to deal with.
Yeah, I hear you. 5+ weeks just is not ever going to sit well with me, man. It's never, ever, ever going to sit well with me. Brunson would have come back.
Rick, I was out for 2 weeks with a pulled hamstring, maybe 2.5. And that's because my dumb butt wanted to race an NFL player on the beach. So, and I was out. So I can only imagine actually torn hamstring. I couldn't. Man, I was celibate for a month. I couldn't do nothing, Rick. I couldn't do nothing, man.
Dot had to get that in, huh? Celibate for a month. Oh my goodness! Wow.
That was a solid singer. That was the best random tangent we've gone down in a while. Can I query the NFL player, or do you want to leave his name out of it?
No, don't say it. Don't say it. Don't do it.
We good. Yeah.
Don't do it.
I know we X-rated, but we can't go to X.
Yeah, right. Don't do it.
Okay, all right. I'm a big NFL guy, so I was curious right there. I hear you, man. I hear you. Boy, that derailed B-Dot in more ways than I think a lot of us anticipated. All right, let's move on. It is Beyond the Surface on the X-Rated Sports Network. In about 45 minutes, we've got Justin Rowan. He's a Cavaliers insider. Yeah, I know. Good get. We got the Mitchell contract. We got LeBron maybe going back to Cleveland. Big shout out to Dwight Walton for booking that. Okay, let's talk Don. Donovan Mitchell signs a 4-year, $273 million max extension, including a player option for 2030-31. The question is, did Mitchell choose the max over a ring? Did Mitchell choose the max over a ring? Yes, he did. And I want to make the point, I'm not mad at him. I'm going to be fairly critical here, but I'm not mad at him, okay? Get your money, grab your bag. It's a business decision. Do you or don't, right? Jalen Brunson just showed all of us the blueprint, but Donovan Mitchell did not follow it. Donovan, Brunson just showed you and everybody, he just kicked your all's butt face to face, mano a mano in the Eastern Conference Finals, and you still took the biggest bag you could possibly take. Again, I'm not mad at him, but this is not what you do if you're bloodthirsty to win a ring, okay? If you're a star player that needs the ring, not wants the ring, James Harden, but needs the ring, okay? This isn't how you do it today. You pretty much have to take a haircut to make the money work because you got to have a crew. The super team, big three model doesn't work anymore. It's shattered in a million pieces. You got to have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 guys, okay? And you got to have like 5, 6, 7 badasses, okay? That's how you win today. That's how you win 16 playoff games. Wemby, are you listening? Wemby's got to take less, guys. He does. If he needs that ring, like he always says that he does. Brad Stevens just said he had to trade Jalen Brown because of the massive contract, too restrictive, can't build the roster around, two colossal max guys like that. It's a horse bleep trade, but he's not wrong, okay? Having 2 colossal max contracts is not the ideal model anymore. Donovan is now on a super max. Mobley's on a max. Allen makes $30 million per year. Strus is at 16. Harden's going to want to raise off the $42.3 million player option he just declined, okay? Just posted all-star numbers, all right? And so he's going to want to raise. How do you have all that money? How are you going to make that work? So I'm not mad at Don, but yes, I do think he made a business decision over a basketball decision, and I do think he chose the bag over the ring. Dot, I go to you next.
I don't think Mitchell's max alone, puts the Cavaliers in jeopardy. Not paying him would have put them in jeopardy. You don't let a number 1 scoring guard, walk when they're trying to win. I mean, but it does make, the margin of error very tiny. But I mean, this is almost a 30-point player, 6 assists, 5 rebound guy a night. I think the issue is it's roster construction. Are you gonna do you believe that this Mitchell and Mobley duo can win you a championship? And will Cleveland find enough shooting wings and playoff shot creation around them without easy cap flexibility? So I think my take. I don't think the contract, it doesn't kill their ring chances. I think it's more the roster construction and how these players are going to play. I don't think Mitchell's, let's put it like this, Mitchell's contract, it ain't the fire. It's a smoke alarm. It's basically telling Cleveland, all right, y'all paid the superstar. Now don't build this roster like a playing team with luxury tag prices. So I think you have to pay him. And for him, he has to accept it because I don't know if he's going to get that anywhere else. And, he's in his prime right now. He's playing well. And I think, you don't let that kind of money go as a player. And he's not Jalen Brunson. If you get what I'm saying, there's not many Jalen Brunsons in this league at all. As a matter of fact, there's no Jalen Brunsons besides Jalen Brunson in this league. So I don't think it kills their chances. It just depends on how this roster is constructed and if Mobley can take that next step in becoming a superstar and not just a substantial star in this league.
Right. There's our guy Mobley. All right, Dwight Walton, you are up next, man. Did Donovan Mitchell choose the bag over a ring?
This is once again a product of our new collective bargaining agreement. The new CBA has put players in the position to do what Jalen Brunson did for the New York Knicks. The new CBA has done its job. It has cut out the idea of organizations putting together super teams And it's also putting the players in a position to where the league office, organizations, and fans, quite honestly, are now feeling okay that it's okay to dig into players' pockets. Listen to what we're saying. Donovan Mitchell took advantage of the opportunity to give him and his family future generational wealth. And now we're talking about, did he cost the Cleveland Cavaliers a ring, or did he choose business over a ring? I understand the context of the question, but anytime you have the chance to put your family in the best position possible, we should not be critical. We should not be having this kind of conversation. We're in the sports business. We're in the podcasters business. We're in the media business. So yes, this is a talking point, but this is a result of the CBA. Jalen Brunson opened up Pandora's box by taking $113 million less because he knew building the roster was paramount to building a championship roster. And it worked out to the best of its ability because the New York Knicks won their first championship in 53 years. So I understand it. But again, Jalen Brunson set a precedent. I could tell you that the NBPA were not pleased with Jalen Brunson because now we're having these conversations to where you just said, Rick, Jalen Brunson did it. Victor Wembanyama is going to have to do it. We know that all these teams that are great right now, the window, because of the CBA, is now 2 to 3 years. You cannot have sustained success as an organization if you go by the rules of the current CBA. Right off the hop, Knicks president James Dolan said on a radio interview about a day or two after they won the championship, we are not going into the second apron. What does that do? Now you have to cut costs. You have to start thinking about trades down the line. Stan Kroenke said it a couple of summers ago about Nikola Jokic. He knows that there's a possibility that Nikola Jokic might leave Denver. And that put the Denver Nugget fan base in a tizzy. They started freaking out. So again, Donovan Mitchell, I think, did the right thing by choosing his priorities over a ring, but in the sports realm, in the NBA realm, it was the wrong thing to do because of what Jalen Brunson did and what the Knicks eventually accomplished. So Brunson opened up Pandora's box, and it's put Mitchell and other superstars in that box to do the right thing, if that's what we want to say here, in order for a team to be able to build a roster and ultimately win a championship.
Yeah, I blasted Kroenke for that idiotic press conference. You don't talk about the end of Jokic in Denver in a public setting. You just don't bring those words and speak them into existence. That was some dumbassery. Ashley Neville, did Donovan Mitchell choose Max over a ring?
Honestly, he left money on the table because if he would have waited till next year, that would have been his 10th season in the NBA where he could have actually made even more money. So I think by signing now, he showed the Cleveland Cavaliers, I'm committed to this organization right now. I want to help with the future of potentially getting LeBron James to come here, right? So I think he provided more stability for this team and for the fans, and he created less of a distraction. Because if he would have opted out and waited till last year, fans would go in another frenzy. Same thing like we were talking about with Jokic. It would have been another distraction, which Cleveland doesn't want. But I think Donovan made the right move. And I saw my boy Monty, he's watching right now. Shout out Monty. Made a good point. You have all these billionaires that are trying to tell these millionaires what to do with their money. And again, this is a sports business. Not everyone is moving like Jalen Brunson, but also Jalen has relationships within the Knicks organization where there's already probably something unsaid or, if you take a pay cut now, we'll take care of you later. Does Donovan Mitchell necessarily have that in Cleveland? I don't think so. And I think Donovan has done enough. He's made it to the playoffs all 4 years he's been there in Cleveland. Also made it to an Eastern Conference Finals appearance. And if they can get, one or two more guys, Cleveland's still going to be at the top of the Eastern Conference. So I think Donovan made the right move. He actually could have taken more money but decided to sign now, which I think was a very unselfish move by him. And what else was Cleveland going to get if they would have let him walk? Who else are they going to get that's just as good as Donovan Mitchell? No one. I think this was the right move. I'm all for it. Whether they get a ring or not, I'm happy he got his bag.
Yeah, a bunch of great points. My understanding of that extra year, which would have been $80 million, I'm dubious that the Cavaliers would have I think a 4-year deal was all the Cavaliers had for Don. Because if you put it out to a 5-year deal, you're paying him like $80 million as a 35-year-old 6-foot guard. I think the Cavaliers said no to Don on that. And Ashley, I mean, I'm not like even disagreeing with you because I read the ESPN article and it kind of portrayed Donovan as he could have done this. I just don't agree with that. I really don't. I mean, I just don't think the Cavs would have said, I can't wait to pay Donovan Mitchell $80 million in his age 35 season. I just don't believe that.
But what if he has a crazy season? You know what I'm saying? Like next year, like what if he goes off? What if they make it to the finals? Like, we don't know. Like, what if he had an outstanding season? Then Cleveland's like, okay, we do need to sign him. We do need to give him that max. So it could kind of go either way. Yeah, maybe they didn't want to pay it now, but who knows?
Ashley, if the Cavs get to the finals, it's not going to be because of Donovan Mitchell. I can tell you that.
I mean,
he's
right
definitely.
Okay.
It's not going to be because of Donovan Mitchell.
Why? Then what would it be?
We will get to that later. You know what I'm talking about.
Later.
Yeah.
Okay. It'd be the what did my guy Austin Carr remember he always said the L train throws the hammer down. Remember that Austin Carr on League Pass? Austin Carr, we love you out here, man. We love you out here. Yep, there is. There he is.
LeBron James.
All right, Ashley, you are first on this one. I want to start talking about DeMar DeRozan here. DeMar DeRozan is a free agent, okay? Like, does anybody care? I say that like, DeMar, I love you. I just, that was actually a crappy joke. But the Knicks,
we do here in Canada, we do.
The Knicks waived, yeah, I'm a big DeMar DeRozan fan. Very like historically, did you guys know he has 26,000 points? Did you know that? 26,000 points. He's 18th all time. 18th all time in scoring. Like, ridiculous resume. Ashley, but he's an older player now. Okay? Yeah. He is entering his age 37 season, his 18th season. Is DeMar DeRozan still a needle mover? And we do have a 60-second clock on this segment.
So what's the question?
Is DeMar DeRozan still a needle mover?
I mean, with all due respect, I don't think he raises a ceiling. He raises a floor, right? He's definitely a contributing piece. I wouldn't say he's the superstar anymore. I mean, we saw that when they moved him out of Toronto. They won a championship that next year. He didn't really do much to impact the Bulls when he was there, the Kings. Do I think he could be a missing piece alongside a superstar player? Yeah, I mean, he still is one of the best mid-range shooters in the league. And I think even, like, I wanted to say that potentially he'd be a really good fit in Detroit. I don't know if we were going to go there and discuss where we think he'd be a good fit, but
that's next.
That's next. Then I can wait. But I mean, I think he can help any team that he goes to. But to me, he needs to be a Robin to somebody's Batman. He's not a Batman. To me, he's not raising your ceiling, but he could raise your floor.
We get a Batman Robin reference. I love it. I love it. You didn't hit me with 1A, 1B, 1C, 1Z. No. We went Batman. I like it a lot.
He's a Robin. He could be a Robin. I still think.
I'm into it. B-Dot, you are next, man. Is DeMar DeRozan still a needle mover?
I mean, at age 37, going into his 18th season, DeMar DeRozan, I think he's still a needle mover, but he's just not the engine anymore. And that is where people like get the conversation twisted. If you're asking DeMar to come in and like save your franchise, no, that version of DeMar is gone. No offense, D. But if you are asking him to be a third or fourth option, get you like 14 to 18 points, calm the offense down, punish mismatches, give you a real bucket, when the game gets ugly, come in, kill that second unit. Yes, absolutely. Because playoff basketball still slows down and everybody loves pace and space until, it's game 6 and the offense is struck and your young players are just start dribbling with their Wi-Fi lagging, So I think that is where DeMar still matters. He's not a floor raiser for a bad team anymore. He is like more a pressure release valve for a good team. So yes, DeMar DeRozan, in my opinion, still moves the needle. He just cannot be the needle. And at this stage, he can help, sew the suit together. He just can't carry the whole sewing machine. So I feel as though DeMar, in the right role, he gets it done.
That's a cool take right there. I like that juxtaposition. Tell us about your shirt, B-Dot. I'm laughing over here about your shirt. Show us your shirt.
Not an influencer. Yeah, not an influencer.
But you are.
Yeah, you are. I'm confused. Explain that.
I have influence, but I'm not just an influencer. I'm not just a shut up and dribble player. Get into my Jalen Brown bag right now.
Tell him, B-Dot. Tell him.
But no, it's a cool shirt. I seen this company sent me, and I was like, yeah, I love it. Because I'm more than an influencer. That's always been my take since starting my career of becoming who I am. I have influence, but I can influence on different levels and in different ways. And yeah, I'm more than just an influencer, in my opinion.
I love it,
so
man.
you're still an influencer. You're still an influencer, but you're not just an influencer.
Yeah, it's under the umbrella of the dot machine. I am the sewing machine. If you
we have to look at the total shirt. The shirt gives the response.
There you go. It's kind of backwards.
If you read the definition at the bottom, it gives the full response.
Being influential to those around you, regardless of holding the title of an influencer. It's kind of backwards. So yeah, there it is.
That's dope, dude.
Got it. I like it. I like it too.
It's ironic. It's a little self-deprecating. It's also inviting, like, okay, you're not an influencer. What are you? There's so many other things, DJ, comedian, rapper, baller, business owner, awesome father. The list goes on and on and on. Yeah, that was dope.
Thank you. I need you as my PR. I need you as my publicist. You just hype me up every time.
I got you, man.
You're the best.
Very, very small cut. Very, very small cut. That's all I need. Very, very small. All right, Dwight Walton. Is DeMar DeRozan still a needle mover?
First of all, I was well aware that DeMar DeRozan had 26,000 points. He's one of the best scorers the NBA has ever seen. And listen, being 18th, I'm surprised it's not even higher. But here's my answer. He is absolutely a needle mover. He's just no longer a starter in the NBA. He's not even a Robin to anybody's Batman. It's time for DeMar to put his name in the 6th man of the year conversation. You can't tell me that he wouldn't be able to eat against second teams in the NBA, especially for a championship contender. We're disappointed yesterday. I come to find out that DeMar DeRozan is not an option for the Toronto Raptors. Imagine him coming off the bench alongside Emmanuel Quickley, R.J. Barrett, Scotty Barnes, Kawhi Leonard, Jakob Poeltl, Jacoby Walter, Jamal Shed. You put him in that Raptors lineup as a 6th man, the Raptors increase their chances even more in a very competitive Eastern Conference. So DeMar is definitely a needle mover as far as I'm concerned, needs to put himself into the right position and be willing to come off the bench. I don't think he's a starter any longer. Allow that man to play 20 to 25 minutes a night, gets you 16 to 18 points a night, which will definitely put you in the 6th man of the year conversation. DeRozan is still a needle mover. championship contenders will definitely want his production, specifically coming off the bench.
Very, very interesting take. I did not anticipate the DeRozan off the bench take, but I like it a lot. Guys, I'm going to say no to this. I'm going to say no. And you guys know I love DeMar, future Hall of Famer, 6 All-Stars, 3 All-NBAs. We talked about the scoring, okay? But his scoring numbers have been dipping, all right, from 27.9 to 24.5 to 24 to 22.2 down to 18.4. We're going the wrong way. DeMar DeRozan can still get mid-range buckets all night long. We get this. He can still get to the free throw line 5 or 6 times a game, which is valuable. But he's a tough fit for any system in the NBA. He plays an ISO-heavy style. He doesn't space the floor. And I'm not an analytics guy, but, analytics run the NBA, and analytics don't want long twos. DeMar DeRozan is a long two shooter, or a 17, 18, 20-foot 2-point shooter. They hate that shot in the NBA right now. And also, like, where he operates is going to take away driving lanes for other players. I love DeMar. He's a throwback player from like the 80s and 90s. He would have been even better back then. But I'm not like, it depends on the situation. It's case by case. But right now, just flat, not knowing where he's going to go, I say not a needle mover. I don't think he's going to like have me saying, whoa, they got DeRozan. I'm just not there, guys. I wish I was. I'm just not there.
Rick, this is what I wanted to say. I thought this was going to be part of my response. The only reason, and you touched on it in terms of the analytical approach to it. The only reason we're having this conversation is because DeRozan is not known as a shooter from distance. Otherwise, this would be a totally different conversation. Now, I still think there's space for a player like DeRozan in the NBA, specifically with a contending team. That's what I think. I think coaches just have to adjust to what he does, what he specializes at. You can't tell me. And he will give the requisite effort defensively if you cut his minutes. He's not a cone out there. He's still competent as a defender. And if you put him in that nail area, that elbow area, in that mid-range area to where he can operate with a second unit against second unit defenders, I know he's 37 years old. I know he's going into his 18th season. Yes, his scoring productivity has dropped over the years, which should be the norm for everybody. But you can't tell me you put DeMar DeRozan, who's 18th all-time on the NBA all-time scoring list, that he can't get you 16 to 18 points per game on a contender on second units. I think he's still a needle mover. The only reason we're having this conversation is because he's not a prolific three-point shooter. He's improved at it, but it's not his strength. We all understand that. But I still think he can get the job done on a second unit team, on a contending team.
Man, that'd be interesting to see that. Also, I think DeMar's a really good guy. I don't know him. But he seems humble and go with the flow, like he would accept a bench role. Like I would bet on him doing that. However, he's got 26,711 points, and a lot of guys that are like that don't want to come off the bench. We shall see if that presents. All right, B-Dot, I want you to go first on this next one. Which contender needs DeMar DeRozan the most? There was a report that teams kind of in the running here are the Pistons, the Warriors, the Heat, eye roll, the Lakers, and the Raptors. I say that for Dwight. The Heat are in on everybody. I mean, it's unbelievable. The Pistons, the Warriors, the Heat, the Lakers, and the Raptors. You could mention another team, like hypothetically, I guess, from the world of B-Dot, what you think. But talk to me, man. Which contender do you think needs DeMar DeRozan the most?
Oh man, that's a good question. Fish sticks. I like him, man. I like him. Goodness, man. Nah, not the Heat. I'm not rocking with the Heat.
Detroit, Golden State.
I like, yeah. To Ashley's point, I like Detroit. I want to put him in the East. Put him back in the East. I like Detroit,
Mm-hmm.
just because he'll have more room to be himself. He'll have more room for opportunity, more room to score, and he's that veteran leader that they excuse me. He's that veteran leader that they need in that locker room. And I feel as though that he could definitely help Cade. He can help that team. And yeah, I'm going with Detroit. I'm just simple answer, Detroit.
All
Man,
right.
man, throw him on the Nuggets. Man, put him on the Nuggets. Throw him on the Nuggets with Jokic, man. I think, like you said, he's an ISO guy, but I feel as though in that system, he'll get more free-flowing buckets because he's still athletic. He's still somebody really well on that fast break, and he gives great defensive effort. So I wouldn't mind seeing him on the Nuggets. The Nuggets in Detroit.
All right. I have lost my screen, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, here we are. Anyway, doesn't matter. I had a little window issue right there. All right, let's go to Ashley right here. Which contender needs DeMar DeRozan the most? Talk to us.
Well, DeMar would give the Pistons another shot creator, a closer, someone to also maybe take a little bit of pressure off of Cade at times as well. And I think he would automatically go into that starting small forward role. I don't think he would have to come off the bench. And I just think, yeah, his production might have dropped off with the Kings, but it's the Kings. Now, if he's actually on a winning organization with guys that know how to play basketball, it might motivate him to score a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about the drop-off of the Kings. Everyone goes to the Kings and plays worse. It doesn't just happen to him. It happens to, look at just take that. Just look at the history of players going to the Kings and see what happens. So I think Detroit would be a really good fit. Does he make them a contender overnight? No, he's not their franchise guy. But does he make an impact immediately? Absolutely. And I just see him as a good fit there alongside Cade. But would I like to see him, I think, could I see him going to the Lakers? He's from LA. That's another reason why he wanted to go to the Clippers to begin with. He's an LA guy. Could the Lakers also use a guy with, veteran presence, leadership, also a shot creator, a closer to help alongside Luka, or even him coming off the bench, as Dwight had alluded to. For the Lakers, yeah, I mean that's a possibility too. Golden State, they haven't made one splash in free agency. I don't know what they're doing. They could use him too, but I'm going to say Detroit because they're ready to win right now. And if DeMar wants to finish his career with an NBA championship, I think this would be the right move. I don't see him going anywhere else. Spurs, no. OKC, no. The Knicks, no. They already got their team. Sixers, no. Detroit makes the most sense. And also, Eastern Conference. Go to the Eastern Conference. Because to me, no one's getting through OKC or the Spurs. But I think right now in the East, it's anybody's game.
Ashley, I would like a quick thesis on Vivek Ranadive and the Vivek era in Sacramento. Could you unpack a little bit the Vivek era in Sacramento? You seem like a big fan. I just wanted to give you that opportunity.
No, I can't. I can't do that for you.
You go to Sacramento, you get Vivek'd, okay? Like dude, the dysfunction going back to Dave Yeager and Vlade Divac and Marvin Bagley, should he start or come off the bench? And oh yeah, they passed on Luka. There they are. There's the they've been called I'm in a good mood. I'm not even gonna say it.
Yeah, I know you're going to say it.
You know what I was gonna say, B-Dot? It starts with a C, right? You know where I was going with that? I'm not even going there. I'm not. All right. Dwight Walton, you next. Thanks for slamming on the brakes for me there, Dad. That was good. That was good right there. Dwight, which contender needs DeMar DeRozan the most?
Before I answer the question, can anybody give me the current starting five or the last season's starting five of the Detroit Pistons?
Duncan Robinson, Osar Thompson, Cade Cunningham, Tobias Harris, and Jalen Duren.
Okay, so my answer for Detroit, if it's important for DeMar to start and to play for a championship contender, the answer are the Pistons. But I'm not sure if the Pistons are the true answer here. I think DeMar DeRozan needs to look himself in the mirror, understand that right now I am still good enough to score at a 16 to 18 point rate if I humble myself, come off the bench, and put myself in the sixth man of the year conversation. That will be one hell of an accomplishment for a player at 37 years of age in his 18th season in the NBA. I think he needs to look at rosters to where, as I used it before, can eat against second units. The pressure won't be on him. I'm not sure if he's a starting two guard right now for a championship contender. I'm sure his workout regimen allows him to play a certain amount of minutes to be in shape, but can he give the requisite defensive effort specifically for a team like the Detroit Pistons, whose calling card is on the defensive end? Can he do that and still be a scorer or a Robin to Cade Cunningham's Batman, if you will, on a championship contender? I am not sure that the Detroit Pistons are the right fit. I can't give you the right response. If he plays for the Lakers, he's definitely coming off the bench. He's not starting. So unless they start him at the small forward alongside Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves, possibly he could slide in to the starting small forward, because right now I believe they have newly signed Quentin Grimes penciled in as their starting small forward. They gave him a ton of money. I don't think he's going to come off the bench for the Lakers. So again, I'm not sure what the right response is here, but if it's important to DeMar to be a starting two guard on a championship contender, the answer is the Detroit Pistons. However, I'm not sure him starting at the two guard position for the Pistons moves the needle enough to have them overcome the better teams, specifically the New York Knicks. And depending on where LeBron signs, whether it be Philly, whether it be Cleveland, whether it be Miami, I'm not sure DeMar as the starting two guard with Detroit is enough to put them over the top in the Eastern Conference.
Interesting. Very, very interesting. My answer on this, guys, is the Golden State Warriors. You guys are right. The question is, which contender needs him the most? Not what. So what's the best fit? My answer would be Detroit. Which contender needs him the most? The Golden State Warriors. Pardon me. The mid Golden State Warriors. So this is assuming LeBron James.
Who's their head coach, Rich? Who's their head coach?
Rick Celebrini.
There you go. That's good.
I got you. Nice setup right there, Dwight. I love it. My guy.
You
Rick
also said
Celebrini
contender,
coaches the
though.
dang Warriors. Oh, my God.
Yeah, you said contender. You did say contender.
You said contender, and the Warriors are not contenders. But
Yeah.
go on.
Somebody
Go on.
gotta change your answer, Rick.
You know what? You just sunk my battleship. I'm not even going to try to beat these allegations. I'm not. Because usually, I'm like, yeah, but I can't even, but you right now. You're right. The Golden State Warriors are not a contender. Okay, so let's use the term contender loosely. If only so we can get through this segment on Beyond the Service on the X-Rated Sports Network. But you're right. Golden State is not a contender. They are one of the teams listed as a possible destination for DeMar DeRozan. So let's put contender in air quotes for right now. I do think, look, Golden State needs DeMar DeRozan way more than DeMar DeRozan needs the Golden State Warriors. DeMar DeRozan needs Detroit, right? Does Detroit have the money? Do they want to do it? I don't know. Okay, so this is assuming LeBron doesn't go to Golden State. If LeBron goes there, they kind of don't need DeMar at that point. They kind of do, but kind of don't. You know what I'm saying? Jimmy Butler and Moses Moody are going to be out for most of the season. The Dubs need scoring in the worst way. Right now, they have two reliable scorers, Stephen Curry and Kristaps Porzingis. Wait a second. One segment, two errors by your heady host, Rick Kamla. Did I just call Kristaps Porzingis reliable? My bad. Delete. All right. So because he only plays half the games, the Golden State Warriors have a grand total of 1 reliable scorer, Stephen Curry. And if you make the decision to take Steph out of a game, it's hard to do it, but I've seen teams do it. Okay. How do you do it? You double him and you kind of leave a shadow guy around just in case he squirts out. Okay. And you just say, you're not shooting tonight. Okay. I've seen teams do this. I don't know why more teams don't do this. You just trap the cuss word out of Steph Curry. So DeMar DeRozan would average 20 plus points on GSW if he went out there. They would love him at Chase Center. But I can't beat the allegations. I can't, okay? Golden State is, in fact, not a contender, nor would they be a contender with DeMar DeRozan, okay? I'm just saying they need this guy. They still have my guy Trace Jackson Davis on there. Did you see that?
Is he more valuable than Bradley Beal for a contender right now?
Oh, yeah.
100%.
100%.
100%.
Do you agree with your own question, B-Dot? What's your answer?
I was just throwing that because we were talking about spacing the floor, and I know, Brad spaces. I know he's not as reliable as DeMar, but I was
not reliable at all.
Out there.
But hold up.
He could have a wide open 3. That's misses.
Ashley, Rick, Dot, is Bradley Beal ever going to play in the NBA again?
I don't know.
What injury he has?
I don't know.
That's a serious injury he has. Trump,
I mean,
I don't know.
God bless him, man. I mean, injuries have hit him. You guys are back in the Washington days. He played 80, 82. Like he was every night, Brad Beal. Huge stat line. And then injuries started hitting, man, and they have not relented. DeMar DeRozan plays. Right. Every night, DeMar DeRozan. There's no load management for DeMar DeRozan. I don't want to jinx him. I can't even remember the last ankle sprain DeMar DeRozan had. Dwight, can you? Like the guy's plastic man out there.
Very durable.
1,000%. But back to Bradley Beal. Have the Clippers released him?
I was about to ask, is he on the roster? What team is he on?
I think so.
I think I got to look this up. Either the Clippers declined his option, but I think he had a player option that he declined. I got to look that up. Let me ask the internet. Did Beal decline his option? There was an option on his deal, and somebody declined it.
He signed a 2-year, roughly $11 million deal with the player option for 2026, 2027
he declined. You guys, he declined 5.6. He left. He just said goodbye to 5.6 million. And now Dwight's asking, is he ever going to play in the NBA again? This sounds like a mistake by Bradley Beal, maybe.
So here's the deal. Think about it, though. The only reason I brought that up is because no team has signed him yet, right? Mm-hmm. And Dot asked the right question. Now, of course, DeRozan is more available than Bradley Beal is. But in terms of what teams need, he can score from all 3 levels. Very prolific as far as I'm concerned. But the injuries have derailed his career. So much to the point right now where we are 2 weeks south of free agency and no team has picked him up. That says a lot as far as I'm concerned. So we got to keep an eye on that. I think Bradley Beal should be able to play, but I'm fascinated that no team has signed him yet. That tells me his injury is worse than we're being led on to believe.
And it's also, I think, a reputation thing. Not that Brad is a bad guy. I've never heard that he's a bad guy, but teams, they see the games played column and they're like, nah, I don't really want to go there. Hey, we're going to have Justin Rowan on. I want to, this is a pop-up segment, okay? So I want us to be brief on this because I want all of us to weigh in before we get Justin. Let's put a 60-second clock on this. Okay, so I just want your prediction. Pop-up segment before we have Justin Rowan on. He's a Cavs insider. Dwight, thank you for booking Justin. He's terrific. What is your prediction for LeBron James? What is your prediction Justin is ready right now. Okay, so this is a one-word answer before we bring on Justin. Okay, my prediction is the Philadelphia 76ers. Or, just give the team name. Doesn't, all right, Ashley, I'm saying Philly. What is your prediction? Where's LeBron James going?
Cleveland.
Okay, so I'm going to write this down. Ash says Cleveland. Cam says P-H-I.
Oh my God.
B-Dot. How about B-Dot? How about you, man?
Cleveland.
And Dwight.
My basketball mind tells me Philly. My heart is telling me the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what is your final answer, sir?
The Cleveland Cavaliers. And it's going to be a 2-year deal.
Okay. And on that note, wow, that was some beautiful TV right there. Let's bring in Cavaliers insider Justin Rowan. Justin, you just heard, all right? I mean, that was like a big finish with sweeps by Neil Peart of Rush and all kind of stuff, man. Welcome back to the show. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me. Dwight, how can you sit on the fence and give 2 answers? He asked for one.
Wait. Yeah, come on, you know me already. Like I gotta give the educated response first, then I gotta give the heart response afterwards. That's what I
hear you.
That's what I did.
All right, so Justin,
Justin, thanks a lot for coming on the show again, man. We really, really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Anytime.
So Justin, so we'll continue. What is your prediction for where LeBron James goes? And I also and we can almost go around the room on this. It's like this just hit me where you've got it was 6, Denver's out, now it's down to 5, and there's a crystallized top 3, and we're all following all this, right? Okay, is LeBron James actually going to play this season for the veteran minimum? Is that actually where we're going here? Is somebody going to have $6 million for LeBron, or maybe an exception that gets up to 13, 14, 15 million, something like that? Is he actually going to play for the veteran minimum? Talk to me, Justin.
I'd be surprised. I could see maybe that taxpayer mid-level exception, down at 6 million. I can see up to 15 million, but the minimum, that would really, really surprise me, because I think if it was the minimum, I'd be surprised that this isn't done already, right? You listen to Brian Windhorst and other insiders say he's made up his mind. It's just about the logistics and how he's going to announce the decision. If it's just the minimum, that means every team in the league is capable of signing him right now. If there is some maneuvering that needs to be done, if the Cavs need to find, if it is Cleveland, if they need to find a home for Dennis Schroeder or get creative moving Max Strus around, that's going to take some time, right? You need to get into a position to legally sign him to the contract in order to announce it. So I expect him to sign for a little bit more, but obviously it's going to be a pay cut no matter where he goes.
And Justin, your prediction for LeBron, where he ends up?
I think it's going to be Cleveland. I get what Dwight has been saying with the fit with Philadelphia. We've been going back and forth privately about that as well. I do think it is a good fit, but I think no matter where he chooses, there's a lot of questions, right? Philadelphia and Miami in particular, those teams are thin. And when you look at Philadelphia, you have the injury questions with Joel Embiid. You also have a lot of guys that play very well, but in ball-dominant ways, right? Part of the reason why Tyrese Maxey took that step forward last season was Joel Embiid missed the majority of the season. Jalen Brown loves to have the ball in his hands. He just had his favorite season of all time with no Jason Tatum next to him, right? So I think I think there are questions there from a fit standpoint. And when you look at the history of LeBron, I think he knows when you go to a new situation, even if the talent is there at the top end, there is a learning period. There's an adjustment period, particularly if it's a bunch of guys that haven't played together before. I think Cleveland has a very good fit for him. And I think one of the things that makes it attractive beyond it just being home is he doesn't have to play power forward all the time. He gets to preserve his body playing next to Evan Mobley and Jared Allen, We saw that in LA next to JaVale McGee and Anthony Davis, or Dwight Howard and Anthony Davis together. He got to preserve his body, and I think that would be part of the appeal.
Dwight, go ahead.
So to extend on that, Justin, we're talking about his salary, his possible salary. I believe he's going to sign a 2-year deal. Does the amount, and on top of that, Donovan Mitchell just signed that huge 4-year extension. So to couple with that, will LeBron's team and will LeBron himself take the salary into consideration because of the salary cap implications, the luxury tax implications, the first and second apron? The CBA has made this very difficult for general managers to construct rosters for contending teams. Will LeBron James take into consideration what he should sign for if it indeed is a 2-year deal? I don't think LeBron is in his final season. I think it's going to be a 2-year deal, whether it be a 1+1 talking about it be a player option in the second season. I have no idea. But will he take that into consideration so to allow a team like the Cleveland Cavaliers to be able to build after this season, obviously?
I think that's absolutely going to go into consideration, right? Like when you think about what these discussions likely look like, what you're looking at is, okay, if I take this salary, what sacrificing from a team building standpoint do we have to make? How many role players do we have to shed? Do we have to shed one of our core players? I think that's something that every one of these franchises in the mix are having that discussion with LeBron James. When it comes to the Cavs, I know there's extensive reporting that James Harden is basically waiting for this LeBron situation to resolve, because that's where there's more flexibility, right? Like, if LeBron goes for, the minimum $6 million or $15 million, no matter what, he's going to be underpaid on that contract. You could argue he was underpaid on those max contracts that he's been signing. But from a flexibility standpoint, I think what James Harden ultimately signs for is what's going to create the maximum amount of flexibility for the Cavs to get under those aprons, to potentially bring in LeBron James and retain a lot of those supporting players. So I think that's where you're going to see more flexibility. Maybe the Cavs even extend the James Harden contract out to 3 years. I know a lot of the reporting was initially 2, but we're starting to hear some rumors that it could go up to 3 to help smooth out that salary cap a little bit. So I think you're going to see a lot of creativity from all of these teams trying to put the best supporting cast around LeBron possible.
All right, very interesting. Let's continue around the room here. Let's go to Ashley. Ashley, you are with Justin Rowan, Cavaliers Insider.
Hi, Justin. How are you? By the way, love your shirt. Love your shirt.
Thank you.
It's awesome. So if they should miss out on getting LeBron James, who are some other potential targets they're looking into, and who do you think would be the best fit for the roster they currently have now?
Yeah, I think one of the names you would hear is DeMar DeRozan. I know that there's been some speculation that basically he's going to be the fallback option for a lot of these teams, right? If Miami misses out on DeMar, they're probably a front runner. If Cleveland misses out on LeBron, they're probably a front runner for DeMar. So we'll see what direction they go. But honestly, if you look at the remaining free agent landscape and the lack of options that the Cavs have in terms of salary they can offer, the not really having a lot of picks to offer, they're in a really tough spot if LeBron doesn't pick Cleveland. Like, this is a very unique opportunity where you get such a premium talent at such a discounted price. They already lost Dean Wade, who shouldn't be that important, but at the same time, he's kind of that third big and was starting some games for them. There isn't an option on the free agent market that can even replace him. Forget, a LeBron James equivalent. So I think you might end up looking at some discounted options. I know Trendon Watford's a guy that I would have interest in kind of taking a flyer on. But in terms of known names and commodities, they're really going to have to be relying on a lot of internal development. And maybe that's where you see things shift to a trade perspective where let's see if we can move some of our redundant talents here and address some of these needs.
Thank you.
Justin Rowan, host of the Chase Down podcast. Follow him on the artist formerly known as Twitter at Cavs Anida. So Cavs Canada, that's a cool Twitter handle, I must admit, or X handle. We are the X-Rated Sports Network Beyond the Surface, and it is B-Dot with Justin Rowan. Go ahead.
What's up, Justin? I want to ask you about the James Harden, Darius Garland trade with the benefit of hindsight. So watching the Cavs in the playoffs this year, especially once Donovan got, banged up and the offense started getting heavy, do you think Cleveland actually would have been better off with Darius Garland instead of James Harden? Because Harden gave them, size, experience, different type of playoff creation, but at times the offense felt slower, more isolation heavy. Meanwhile, Garland, in his brief stint with the Clippers next to Kawhi, he looked pretty good and still like he had real value, pace pusher, shot maker, and, a guard who could create quick advantages. So going back to the question, when Mitchell was not fully himself, would Garland's speed, chemistry with the original core, and ability to play off the ball have been more valuable to Cleveland than Harden's playoff experience and half-court control? Or do you still think the Cavs, Harden gave the Cavs a better chance to win this year?
That's a really tough question because I'm probably one of the biggest Darius Garland believers that there is out there. And the reality with Garland is, even after the Clippers got eliminated, he said, I'm out there playing on 9 toes, right? Like he was still dealing with some discomfort with that surgically repaired toe. And I think it would depend on the matchup. Like if we were getting 25-20 or 24-25 Darius Garland, right, where he just missed out on the All-NBA spot, I think that would have been a better fit for certain matchups, but I don't think it would have been a better fit for that first round series versus the Toronto Raptors. James Harden had a lot of trouble staying with RJ Barrett, but he also was switching on to Scotty Barnes and some of their larger forwards and doing a very good job in those post-up situations. Whereas later in the playoffs, he was not able to stick with Jalen Brunson. And even though Darius Garland has limitations with his size, what he does defensively is very similar to Steph Curry, where he's going to stay in front of you. And if you shoot over him, you shoot over him. But he's going to do a very good job containing at the point of attack. And he does a better job playing on and off ball. So I think the health of Darius Garland was always the biggest question, particularly when you were a second apron team. I think if the question is, if you were better with Darius Garland next year, if he's healthy, I think he's probably the better player of the two. But the other aspect of this is that James Harden, pay cut that he's willing to take in this situation, creating the flexibility to potentially bring in a LeBron James, the fit with Donovan Mitchell. So I think it really depends on the series. But frankly, James Harden was the best guard on the Cavs the first 2 rounds of the playoffs. Donovan Mitchell was incredibly uneven, and the playmaking was just not there from him at all. And I think the games that they won and the ones that they looked best in were when they were involving the big men. And James Harden was essential to that.
Yeah.
Justin,
I appreciate that.
Justin, I'm curious. Does Cleveland love James Harden? What are the streets? What are the streets of Cleveland? What is local sports talk radio in Cleveland saying about James Harden? Do they have to have him back? Do they love him? Or are they kind of hip to the fact that when you get to the playoffs, okay? So what are the streets of Cleveland saying?
It's a mixed bag. It is absolutely a mixed bag when it comes to James Harden. I actually think he took a little bit too much flack for that Knicks series. Because I don't think you get there without James Harden and everything that he did. And even when you look at it defensively, it's not like Donovan Mitchell's a better defender than James Harden. The Cavs, it's actions over words, right? And James Harden is the one they're putting at the point of attack because they don't trust Donovan Mitchell to be at the point of attack. That's always been one of the issues around building with him is he's not, even though he's point guard size, he's not capable of running an offense like a point guard. So you have to put him next to a point guard, which means you're always dealing with some undersized backcourt. I do think that it's a little split with James, right? Like one of the big changes going from Darius to James Harden is Darius takes care of the basketball at like historic rates, right? Like it's basically for that usage, that assist percentage, it's Jokic, it's Garland, and it's Jalen Brunson, like the last 3 years. Like they take great care of the basketball. James Harden's already in the top 10 in Cavs franchise history for playoff turnovers, right? Like all just in one run here. So
wow,
it was a totally different animal. And I think that, I don't think anyone loves James Harden, right? Like, he hasn't been with the team long enough to endear himself. But I think if he's willing to take a pay cut, that's the type of thing that can be endearing to a fan base. So I think people recognize the value while also being concerned about what limitations come from roster building when you have those two guards next to each other.
I hear you, but I don't see James Harden taking I mean, he opted out of 42.3, man. I don't think you opt out of 42.3 unless you want 45.7 or 48.9. Tell me I'm wrong. I could be wrong, but I don't think James Harden opted out to drop down to 33 mil per year on his next contract. Tell me I'm wrong.
I think he actually did. And the history behind this is he did take a pay cut when he was with the Clippers to help them sign Bradley Beal, right? Like, he does have a history of doing this. I think the priority for James Harden is security, right? Like, I want those years. And when things fell apart with the Clippers to the point where he wanted that trade, he wasn't getting the extension he wanted. So I think if he's getting that term on his deal, that's the most important thing for him. And we have seen him sacrifice from an annual salary perspective to bring in guys that he wants to play with. So I think there is some history on that side, but ultimately we're going to need to see. We're also going to need to see, do the Cavs feel it's redundant to have James Harden there running the point if LeBron James is coming into the mix?
Oh, boy, the plot just thickened. Maybe LeBron in, Harden out. Ooh, I hadn't even really considered that. Is there a world, and Dwight, you're going to come in here. I'm just kind of following up here. Is there a world where Harden and LeBron are both on this team? Like, that can still totally realistically happen, right? I mean,
yeah.
Or could it be one or the other? That's an interesting thought. That's an interesting thought. Like, LeBron would really have to press the Cavs for a bunch of money to get that number to a point where then Harden's like, yo, I'm not playing for that, right? That's how that would look if that happened.
I would imagine so. And I think the more likely thing, I do think that if LeBron comes, Harden will still be on this team. Maybe in January and February, starting to have those questions of, hey, this is working. We're a really good regular season team, but we have three guys that don't really play point of attack defense, at least in the regular season, right? Like, if the games matter, I expect LeBron's effort level to get to another level. But even with the backline support of Evan Mobley and Jared Allen, you're still giving up so much of it, the point of attack. And even if you were to, I know there's thoughts out there of, should they move a big for a wing defender, bring in a Herb Jones or a Trey Murphy type guy? Neither Donovan or James Harden are good screen navigators. So the Cavs always play a very switch-heavy scheme. If you're bringing in a point of attack stopper that's, cross-matching from the small forward position, you're one screen away from getting the matchup you want because you're going to soft switch all of that stuff. So how much are you actually accomplishing in those spots? So I think if LeBron signs, Harden will be on the team to start the season, but I do think it would be a very interesting trade deadline.
Ooh, spicy take right there. Dwight, go ahead.
See, this is why it's great to have Cleveland Cavalier insiders on, because they give a different perspective. All we do is watch the games. I mean, listen, I watch every game, but when we're talking about James Harden, for Justin to tell us that he's the better point of attack defender than Donovan Mitchell is, nobody would ever come up with that, but it's a fact. Although we see Jalen Brunson hunting James Harden still was right there. If you watch those highlights properly, he's still right there. Just that Jalen Brunson is making tough shots. But that's a whole other conversation. My question, Justin, as a follower of the Cleveland Cavaliers, take LeBron James out of the equation. What are the Cavs missing? Why haven't they had the success? Is it mental toughness? Is it physical toughness? Are they missing a LeBron James? What has been happening? Why do we not have any faith in the Cleveland Cavaliers come playoff time?
I think it's just the lack of consistency. They've shown that they can do it even in playoff settings, but it's not always there, right? And even in the playoffs, they would get down by a lot. They would come back and win those games. They dragged out those series versus the Raptors and Pistons longer than they needed to. And there was that fatigue versus the Knicks because they didn't take care of business, right? Like the playoffs don't exist in a vacuum. It's a marathon. And if you're dragging your butt for the first, 2/3 of the marathon and you're trying to sprint at the end, you're going to probably run out of gas before you get to the finish line. I think what they've been missing is consistent front court initiation, right? Like when you have a guard dominant offensive approach, you need to have front court guys that are taking the pressure off of you, right? Even some of the examples like Steph and Clay, you had Draymond that was providing that relief from the front court playmaking perspective, right? When the Raptors won, I know Danny Green started, but there was a lot of Fred VanVleet and Kyle Lowry out there, but they ran offense through Kawhi. They had Marc Gasol initiating offense. Even Pascal Siakam was bringing some of that. So I think that's been something that the Cavs are missing. And Evan Mobley can do that in theory, but when the guards are getting bottled up at the point of attack, sometimes they don't get the ball to the bigs. They start neglecting Mobley in those spots. And I think you need someone from the perimeter that is able to initiate and take some pressure off of them to keep the defense honest, right? Like it's like in football. If you don't have a consistent run game, the teams are just going to play the pass, right? So the Cavs need to have a more balanced approach. And I think the other thing they've been lacking is maturity, right? The execution isn't there in the crunch time when it needs to be. And I think from a front court initiation standpoint and from a maturity standpoint, there's not many better options than LeBron James.
You see, and that's where I was going to go. So the thing is, the more we talk about it, Philadelphia 76ers, as you and I have discussed ad nauseum off air here, seems to be the right fit as far as I'm concerned. But the more you talk about the maturity, the leadership, the ball initiation, the more involvement for the bigs, you take the ball out of James Harden's hands. Donovan Mitchell doesn't want the ball to begin with. He wants to be created for more than creative himself, although he can do it. LeBron James puts the Cavaliers, the more I think about it, the more you talk about it, and I think the more the fans would actually think about it, LeBron James makes perfect sense for the Cleveland Cavaliers. And just imagine, I just think he just makes everybody else better. I think he makes James Harden better. And I think what's going to end up happening if the Cavaliers are ultimately LeBron James's choice is that it puts everybody on high alert. The urgency steps up. We've got LeBron James on our team. Guys are going to start working out harder. Guys are going to be looking at LeBron in awe because, like, how the hell is this 42-year-old doing this? We're watching him working out on the medicine ball, lifting dumbbells over his head while maintaining balance. No average human being can do that. That's how great this guy is. I just think the more I think about it now, and you hit it on the head in terms of the maturity, the ball responsibility, the ball security, LeBron James makes all the sense in the world. And I think it will put the Cavaliers right up at the top with the Knicks and the Pacers and the Heat, whomever else, the Pistons, whoever else you want to talk about at the elite at the top of the Eastern Conference. LeBron James, the more I think about it, makes a lot more sense, more than the Philadelphia 76ers at this point.
Very interesting. Ashley, B-Dot, do you guys have one more question? Anything else for Justin? I have one more for him before we let him go. Or Dwight, anybody have one more question for Justin?
Yeah, I have one. Ashley?
You go. It's all you.
Okay. Okay, Justin, when you look at the Cavaliers today, how much of the franchise is still living in the shadow of LeBron James? And I don't mean like in a negative way, because LeBron delivered, the greatest moment in Cleveland sports history. But when you cover this team so closely, do you feel like the organization has fully moved into a new era with Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley, and this current core? Or is there still like an invisible LeBron standard where every Cavs team gets judged against this 2016 team, even though that was a once-in-a-lifetime player and a once-in-a-lifetime championship run? So, like, basically, how hard is it for Cleveland to build a new identity when the greatest chapter in franchise history is still so fresh in everybody's mind, especially if LeBron comes back this year?
I think it has been difficult, right? Like they have had a lot of team success. When you think about it, he was gone for 8 years. And 5 of those 8 years, they've had a winning record, right? Like even the season prior to Donovan Mitchell coming to the Cavs, they won 44 games. And at the All-Star break, they were the 3 seed, right? Like that was that rookie Evan Mobley year where they just had a ton of injuries after the All-Star break and they kind of fell down to the play-in. But that team was probably on pace for about 48 wins if they didn't have those injuries. So they've had a lot of success. The second most wins in team history came 2 years ago, right? Without LeBron. But because you don't capitalize on that with playoff success, it doesn't resonate the same way, right? And I think the standard of LeBron James and just the consistency of, hey, we're favored in a series, and when we're favored in a series, we win that series. Like that's something that you take for granted when your entire kind of fan experience has been centered around LeBron, right? And just this insane level of consistency, right? So I think they've done a lot of very good things. I think from a reputational standpoint around the league, they've improved their standing, right? Like Donovan Mitchell, everyone assumed he was going to leave at the first chance he got, and he signed 2 extensions here with the Cavs. I think that speaks to the organizational stability and like everything that they've got going, right? Like they do well in the draft, they do well from player development. They've taken some swings that work in trades, they've taken some that haven't worked out, and they've recovered from those. So I think the overall stability and health of the franchise is better than it's ever been. But from a fan perspective, it's tough to get out of that shadow of LeBron until you get that playoff success. I think if they went 7 games with the Knicks and they lost, I think that would have done a lot, right? To say, hey, we are on that level. Maybe with a little bit more chemistry and time together, we can get over the hump. But they didn't show up well at all in that series, right? Like they got completely outclassed. And I think that's why your eyes start to wander and say, all right, we're going back to Old Faithful here. We're going to get LeBron in here and see if that can get us over the hump.
Exactly. I appreciate that, man. I love that insight.
Dwight, do you have one more, or should I just ask one more and we let Justin go?
No, you could ask one more, but I was about to say you said it at the end, Justin. That cloud is right back with LeBron as he resigns because he's here to save the day once again. So that's what I wanted to say. Go ahead, Rick.
Love it. So analytically speaking, Justin, are the Cleveland Cavaliers actually the 2026 NBA champion?
Hey, they got some good looks. But the thing we said on our podcast is just because you got open looks doesn't mean you're entitled to make those shots, right? Like that's the entire game, right? The shot quality was absolutely there, and I get what Kenny Atkinson was saying. That just would have been something I probably would have kept internal because I think that speaks to, okay, the process was good, right? Like the playmaking's there. We're getting the open looks. We're getting more open shots than the Knicks got. But you have to actually make the shots. Like that's what this whole thing comes down to, right? So I can understand and I appreciate it, and I'm a process over results guy. But the reality is, NBA playoff series are they're not a large sample. They are a small sample size. It used to drive me nuts when Daryl Morey would talk about, hey, we missed 27 straight threes, but our process was great. No, if the shots aren't falling down, you got to do something else. You got to problem solve on the fly and get better looks. And I didn't love that we were kind of pivoting to that same direction of pure process over results. But no, we were not the analytical champs, unfortunately.
So Justin, I'm going to ask you a Boston Celtics question now. Then, so when you listen to what the reports have said and what Brad Stevens has said, it's hard for the average fan to understand why would Hugo Gonzalez and Baylor Shireman be the end all in a possible Giannis Antetokounmpo acquisition by the Celtics, and then why would reports come out that analytically Derek White had a better season than Jalen Brown? Then you look at the 3-point percentage of the Celtics in the playoffs, to me was a major reason why they didn't get past the Sixers. Of course, the play of Joel Embiid markedly swung that series. We get that. But why are analytics such a huge part of an organizational decision when it comes to acquisitions or just the overall outlook of their situation, because Kenny Atkinson felt empowered to say that out loud to all of us. Why is that?
I feel like when it comes to Jaylen Brown, obviously this isn't based on any inside information, but I feel like that's the type of justification you give after the move, when in reality it probably had more to do with there has always been rumors of Tatum and Brown not always being on the same page, and how much do they love playing with one another. When Jaylen Brown gets thrown in trade conversations and that trade doesn't materialize, sometimes that just is something that you can't come back from, right? That ultimately was a big part of Kyrie leaving the Cavs. Was he was in trade talks for Paul George, ironically, right? And some other conversations there. And when that doesn't materialize, sometimes you just have to part ways because the level of buy-in isn't going to be there. I think what sometimes the analytics miss is when you have a workhorse like a Jaylen Brown that's absorbing so much usage, it allows everyone else around them to be more efficient, right? Like you can play in your ideal maximized role because someone else is out there doing the heavy lifting, right? And I think there's a value in the analytics. There's a value in the stats, right? Sometimes it can confirm what we're seeing, but it's never going to capture the full story. And particularly when you're talking about these all-in-one metrics that I absolutely hate, because I think we do a pretty good job capturing what's going on offensively. Defensively, you're never going to know what the assignment was actually. Like, did you blow the rotation? Is the teammate that's contesting the shot, was he supposed to be there in the first place? Or was that because you completely blew your assignment, right? You're never going to capture the game fully in one catch-all metric, because if we've captured, let's say, 70% of what's happening offensively in analytics, we're maybe at like 20% defensively. We're like, it's never going to be there. So I think there's a value in it, but I do think sometimes it's kind of used after the fact to basically justify a controversial decision, right? Like it's not fully in my hands. I'm doing it because of blank.
So Justin, tell everybody about the Chase Down podcast, where they can see it, when it is available to them. Let them know.
Absolutely. So it's the off season, so we're only going once a week. We're a little lazier at this time of year, but you can find us. We go live on the Cavs YouTube channel. You can also find it wherever you get your podcasts in audio form.
Excellent. Justin, we're a big fan of yours. You're a dear friend of ours over here at Beyond the Surface, and we appreciate you.
Rick, can I ask Justin one more little simple question before you go?
Get in here.
Justin, in getting LeBron James, is Kenny Atkinson, is he the all and be all for that like the decision for LeBron to come there? Like, it's like, do you feel LeBron is like, I don't want Kenny to be the coach do I want to be a player for that Kenny Atkinson coach team, or should they, do a trade and go get Tyronn Lue? But
excellent question, Doc. Excellent question.
Hey. I got a lot of love for Ty Lue. Ty's got Darius now to work with. He loves having a point guard that he can mold in his image. I think he's probably pretty happy in LA. I think there's probably, Kenny's got to get over those hurdles in the playoffs, right? I think sometimes we talk about coaches as static commodities, that they're either good or they're not. When in reality, they're like players, right? They have good and bad games. They have good and bad seasons, all of that. Obviously, Kenny played a major role in winning a championship with the Warriors as kind of that lead assistant. And I think he's taken a lot of things out of that book. I think we talked about how LeBron can make the players better. I think he can make Kenny better too, because Kenny has always talked about how he likes to collaborate with players and, get feedback back and forth. That's one of the things that Donovan loves about him. Donovan and James both advocated for bringing Kenny back. So I think that's actually a situation where having LeBron there, being a coach on the floor as well, can help elevate what he's doing as well.
I appreciate that, man. I just had to ask that. Yeah.
No, I get it.
Kenny A for the win. Maybe. Just maybe. Justin, you the man. Enjoy the rest of your offseason. We'll be in touch, and have fun texting with the big fella over here, all right?
You bet. Always do. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
We appreciate you, Justin. Thank you, man. All right. So I want to get into a little World Cup fan, Knick fan juxtaposition. Who crashes out harder, World Cup fans or Knicks fans? We just saw Knicks fans, and we're currently
That's
seeing
easy.
World Cup fans. My answer, I'm going to go first on this one. My answer is World Cup fans. Knicks fans are the most sophisticated in North American sports. Number 2 would be the New York Yankees. No, it is not a coincidence that they're both New York teams. If you're not smart in New York, you get gobbled up and you get like, it doesn't work out at all. You got to be smart in New York to survive. Okay. Knicks fans are passionate. They're intense. They're loyal. They're rowdy. They're emotional. But no one is more emotional than World Cup fans. Yes, they crash out harder than even Knicks fans. Every win of the knockout round is like winning a championship for these sides. I was watching, I think it was the end of group play. Egypt beat somebody, and it was like, I think it was the first time Egypt had ever gone to the knockout round. I don't really know all the history of this, right? But it was a colossal breakthrough win for Egypt. Their fans, they weren't even close to winning a championship, okay? Their fans are like, oh, this is what I've wanted my whole life, and all this kind of stuff. And it was emotional. I got caught up in it. I'm like, the whole country was, I'm sure, just going crazy, okay? It's just not like that over here, okay? This is a World Cup thing. To see the look on Erling Haaland's face of Norway after they beat Brazil, beaming with love and gratitude and accomplishment, and looking up at the crowd like, what did I just do? Did we just do this? Yeah, I mean, and I'm not trying to be flippant here. All they did was advance to the quarterfinals. Okay, and so I'm not a huge soccer guy. I do appreciate the sport. And I've been more locked into the World Cup this year than I have in other recent World Cups. So maybe I'm a little late to the party here. Okay, but the emotion that I'm seeing is like none other in sports. And it's really blowing me away. It's gripping me. Okay, World Cup fans literally live and die with every tackle, every missed shot, every save, and of course, every goal. Think about it. These fans wait several days for each match, right? Okay. There's always 3, 4, 5 days in between soccer matches, right? Because they run 17 miles or whatever it is. I think they could play a little bit more regularly, but that's just me, okay? No, Luka's not going to catch a stray here, but I could probably manufacture one. But think about it. You wait all of these days for the game. You show up before the game and you party your face off with the supporting groups and all that stuff. And with Atlanta United in Atlanta, I used to do that a lot, right? They have all these supporting groups and they've got kegs of beer and they've got barbecue and it's a blast, okay? It's a freaking party, all right? And then you go to the match and you're in the match and you got to wait like 70 minutes for a goal. Dude, the eruption? Come on, man. It ain't a Brunson 3. It's the first goal you've seen in a week, okay? And then the other side, they've been waiting this whole time for their team to score, and the other team scores. And it's misery, and it's tears, and it's, oh my God, we're going to lose now. It's insane. But I'm finding myself, guys, getting misty, okay? And it's not the dust in my apartment. I'm actually a pretty fastidious guy. There's not a lot of dust in my apartment. Like, for example, when USA played Belgium, and I'm not even going to talk about the match, and God bless Pulisic, who suffered a pretty major injury in that one. All the players before the game, locked in, singing the national anthem, right? Like full throat. They go to the crowd. All the fans singing the anthem, full throat, red, white, and blue everywhere. You got the Air Force jets flying overhead. I literally teared up, okay? I did. I was like, I'm just caught up in this right now. I'm at the hibachi buffet on Monday, okay? Having some sushi, having some Asian food, just loving it, okay? And I look up and Spain scores against Portugal. I'm like, oh, wow. There's like 3 minutes left of stoppage time. Is this Maradona's final World Cup? Yes, it was. So to see the emotion on his face after that you could see his soccer life passing before his eyes. I got misty while eating sushi and hibachi at the hibachi buffet. Okay, I did. I'm a crier. You guys know this, but it's not my fault. Soccer is the most emotional sport on earth, and the World Cup is the most emotional sporting event I've ever seen. So I say World Cup fans crash out harder than Knicks fans. Ashley Neville, what says you?
I'm not a big World Cup girly myself, but I have been watching. I've been tuning in a little bit just because all my TikTok family is like, you need to start covering soccer a little bit more. So I've been tuning in just because they tell me to. But yeah, the fans are as emotional as they come. I mean, if you guys just even saw my thread on TikTok and everyone talking about Messi this, Ronaldo that, like it's insane. The battle between just those two alone, they will go to war, okay? Yeah, do I think Knicks fans are crazy? Absolutely. They were, beating the crap out of Spurs fans and ripping jerseys off and putting them in a coma. But people overseas, those guys are built different. At least I know in the basketball world, they're throwing grenades, and we've seen it at soccer matches overseas as well. They throw grenades and bombs and starting fires and burning flags. Like they're insane overseas. They are so passionate about their sports. And listen, I don't blame them. But yeah, I'm definitely going to go with World Cup fans for sure. But Knicks fans, y'all are crazy. Y'all are crazy.
You're seeing some of that right here. By the way, a Freudian slip. I said Maradona, and I meant Ronaldo. So I just had like a Detroit, Dallas kind of brain fart right there. All right, B-Dot, you next. Who crashes out harder? Pardon me, World Cup fans or Knicks fans?
Easily World Cup. I just got back from Dubai last night, and we're leaving the club at 4 a.m, going to a 24-hour restaurant to watch the games at 5 a.m, and it's fully packed. So that should tell you something right there. Knicks fans are emotional. Like, we've been through pain, we deserve happiness. World Cup fans are emotional. Like, if we lose this penalty shootout, my entire bloodline is ashamed for 40 years. Knicks fans, they will cry outside MSG and blame the refs. World Cup fans will cry in the street, hug a stranger, light a flare, call their grandma, and act like the country's economy depends on one corner kick. The difference is Knicks fans treat basketball like religion. World Cup fans treat soccer like life, death, ancestry, government, and family honor all in one. So yeah, Knicks fans, they are dramatic, they are crazy, but World Cup fans are dramatic with the passport and generational trauma. So World Cup fans wins it easily.
Bravo, that was poetic, man. It seriously was. Dwight Walton, who crashes out harder, Knicks fans or World Cup fans? So far, it's 3 for 3 for the World Cup. Is it 4 for 4?
No, it's 4 for 4, and it's easily 4 for 4. This shouldn't even be a debate. I understand 53 years of frustration from Knick Nation, and we saw, to Ashley's point, it even got violent with some of the fans. If you wore a Spurs jersey around the Garden, you were in trouble. I understand that. But when it comes to international competition, when it comes to representing your country, I could speak to this personally, and I've said this time and time again on my social media outlets, be it Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. There is nothing, and I mean nothing, like wearing your colors and understanding the responsibility that you have playing for your country. And I'll keep it basketball specific. When you see players on your own team starting to fall apart, starting to argue with the officials, I'm screaming at my television talking about, listen, man, this is not about you right now. Not only is it about your team, you're trying to be responsible and win this for your country. That's how deep it gets. And to answer your question, Rick, about players, teams being so emotional, countries being so emotional when they win the game 1-0, why do you think they're so emotional? Even in a quarterfinal match or a round of 16 match, that one goal, you could be, if you're down 2-0, the way Argentina was the other day against Egypt, and I think our boy Monty mentioned it on the comment section here, being down 2-0 is like being down 30. It's very comparable to what the Knicks did when they came back against the Spurs being 29 down. You're talking about Argentina scoring 3 goals in a little less than 13 minutes. Think about that. And my biggest beef with soccer is Argentina understood what was at stake, and they completely flipped their game plan. Yes, they did dominate in terms of shots on goal and shot opportunities against Egypt in that game, yet Egypt took 2 shots and Argentina was down 2-0. So yes, Argentina did carry the play, but they upped the intensity. They upped the urgency, which allowed Messi and his Argentinian teammates to score 3 goals in just under 13 minutes. So that's my only gripe with soccer. But the beauty of the sport, the intensity they play with, and the country patriotism, the pride, the overall sheer joy that these countries have when supporting their country, there's nothing like it. I personally have felt it. I understand it. I talk about it all the time. Ain't nothing like it. Knicks Nation, fantastic. You have a following in North America. You dominate visiting arenas. We understand it. But with all due respect to Knicks Nation, ain't nothing, and I repeat, nothing like a country being supportive of their own players, their teams, in whatever sports they play in. I've had the privilege of feeling it, of being responsible for it, taking advantage of it, having pride in it. Ain't nothing like it, man. The support from the country is amazing. World Cup fans, international fans, country fans in general are just better than any local fan base. This question should even be asked. It's not a debate. Country pride oversees or precedes or overlooks, whatever the word I'm looking for, it dominates whatever local fandom you'll ever have.
All right. Great takes right there. And I'm psyched to see the World Cup crescendo here. Argentina with Messi, kind of sexy. I'm just going to say that seems like some pretty good must-see TV. We have one more topic here, and then we're going to get to our rants. And the topic here, let's talk WNBA. Very, very curious to hear Dwight Walton's response here. He, of course, is the referee on our crew. He's not wearing a whistle right now, but he frequently does. Ashley Neville, you first. I see you wetting your whistle right here. You're going to be all ready for this question. And the question is, should the WNBA protect Caitlin Clark like the NBA protects Victor Wembanyama?
I think the WNBA should protect all of their players. And I think the NBA should protect all of their players. Especially, I mean, it's different though. Caitlin's not the one initiating harm. Wemby is. So it's two different, they're doing 2 different things. But I think the NBA needs to set a precedent and be fair. I don't believe in the superstar treatment. I think that if Caitlin Clark is getting bullied on the court and getting hit by Alyssa Thomas, I know he's going to disagree with that. I think I'm happy the WNBA reviewed that play later on and corrected the decision. But the fact that that wasn't even reviewed is insane. The same thing with Wemby. The fact that Wemby is still a young star in this league and they're already protecting him and allowing him with the elbows and the throwing Jalen Brunson to the ground. I mean, he should have technically been suspended for 2 of those games. So I wouldn't say like the WNBA needs to protect Caitlin any more than they need to protect everybody else on the court. But the same thing for Wemby. I think it should be fair across the board. I don't like the superstar calls. I really don't like the superstar calls. I think it sets a bad precedent for the league.
Okay, love the answer. B-Dot, you perked up a little bit, so you next, man. Should the WNBA protect Caitlin Clark like the NBA protects Wemby?
Should the WNBA protect Caitlin Clark the way the NBA protects Wemby? Yes, but not because Caitlin Clark needs special treatment, because the league needs to protect the product. And whether people like it or not, Caitlin Clark is one of the highest, the most biggest products that WNBA has ever had. That does not mean give her every call. That does not mean let her talk crazy to the refs. That does not mean turn every hard foul into a federal investigation. But it does mean you cannot let defenders turn her into a crash test dummy just because you are scared of her looking like you favor her. The NBA understands this. When you have a young superstar like Wemby, you let him compete But you also make sure teams are not out there testing how much contact they can get away with before the refs finally blow the whistle. That is all Caitlin needs. Not a princess whistle, a professional whistle. Call the grabs, call the hip checks, call the late bumps, call the off-ball stuff that keeps turning into viral clips. Because if you overprotect her, the league looks soft. But if you underprotect her, the league looks careless. And the WNBA cannot afford its biggest conversation every week to be, did Caitlin Clark get hit again? And at some point, this has to stop being about protecting Caitlin Clark as a person and start being about protecting the credibility of the game.
Y'all are some talented you-know-whats. Love both of those takes. Seriously, though, those takes were like home runs. I'm going to go next, Dwight. I want you to take it all in, okay? And then hit us, and you'll have as much time as you want. All right, so my answer to this is, should the WNBA protect Caitlin like the NBA protects Wemby? No. No league should protect any player the way the NBA protects Victor Wembanyama. I mean, dude is out here trying to injure the other team. The league looks the other way, so their superstar can stay on the court and avoid suspension, so their ratings won't suffer. It's pathetic, okay? This isn't ratings. This is the gold ball, okay? But ESPN, ABC, they don't care about that. How about this for an idea? How about the WNBA just plays it straight? This is what B-Dot was saying. No princess whistle, a professional whistle. Bingo. Couldn't have said it better, okay? You don't have to single her out for protection. You don't have to put her in bubble wrap. Just play it straight. Just call the fouls that are happening on the court. The league clearly has a strategy with Caitlin. Not the league office, but the league. Beat her up. Okay, guess what? Steph Curry back in the day. What'd they do? Beat him up. The defensive strategy was to be physical with him, put Dellavedova on him, wear him down. Same exact thing with Caitlin Clark. Get super physical with her, get her mentally out of her game, wear her down. I don't think they're trying to injure Caitlin, okay? I think they're trying to take a bite out of her, many of them. But the physical play has drifted towards dirty play. And here's where the refs need to play it straight. Alyssa Thomas, you know, with the fist thing and all that, the officials didn't even stop play or call a foul. Are you kidding me? The following day, the league upgrades it to a flagrant 2 and a suspension. That's pathetic, okay? Clark's rookie season, remember when Chennedy Carter blindsided her, hard-shouldered her and all that kind of stuff. It was only a common away from the ball foul. The league upgraded it to a flagrant foul 1. Just play it straight. When somebody cheap shots Caitlin or fouls the cuss word out of here, don't act like nothing happened. And by the way, with any lady in the league, if that happens, don't just, I didn't really see any contact there and she's got blood coming from her orbital bone. You know what I mean? Just play it straight. That's all you have to do. All right, Dwight Walton, thank you for your patience. You have taken it all in, my friend. Should the WNBA protect Caitlin like Wemby?
This is a tough one for me because since I've been watching basketball in the late 70s, stars have always been protected in every sport that I have watched. Whether we like it or not, stars are protected. I fully believe stars should be protected because we've got fans flying from Australia to watch LeBron James play an NBA game. If players get suspended or protected, that fan planned that trip. Tickets, I don't know for how many people, months, years in advance. And then that night gets ruined because they flew from Australia to LA, Cleveland, Miami, wherever LeBron has played to watch him play. And I'm keeping it LeBron specific just to make the point. However, when it comes to Caitlin Clark, when it comes to Victor Wembanyama, I understand why they're protected because they're the league's golden gooses right now. It is what it is. However, this is obviously a racial situation. When all of a sudden, I'm hearing the government is having Republicans, like 11 Republicans, are having congressional hearings on the treatment of Caitlin Clark, all this kind of stuff. This is when it speaks to the racial divide that we have in our country. And this is where I don't understand and why I don't like where it's going. Leave the product on the floor. I understand that Caitlin Clark is the golden goose of the WNBA, but there are other players in the NBA, whether they're black or white, that deserve just as much praise as Caitlin Clark is currently getting. I understand that she's the marketable one, but Asia Wilson is also a marketable player. Angel Reese is a marketable player. Let's keep those three. There's other players that their names I can't think of right now. I follow the league, but I'm focusing on those three players right now. They deserve as much credit as Caitlin Clark does. I understand that a lot of fans, average fans, are just coming to the table because of Caitlin Clark. So I understand the focus is on Caitlin Clark. But when this becomes a racial issue, this is where I tune out. The focus should be on the play on the court, not on the physical play that's going towards Caitlin Clark. That's out of bounds regardless, whether it's Asia Wilson, Caitlin Clark, all the other great players that we currently have in the WNBA. The focus should be on the floor. Whether we protect our superstars or not, I don't like where it's going. All the social media chatter that is happening right now, it just speaks to the racial divide that we have in North America, across the world, and it just speaks to how the government is handling things. And there's a certain demographic of people out there that feel comfortable enough to speak on this and to put the focus on this rather than the great play that the WNBA has produced for the past 30 years. I do know that it's getting more and more popular right now over the course of the last 3 to 5 years. But this right there, Republican lawmakers pressed the WNBA commissioner to protect Caitlin Clark. When it gets to this level, that's where I get upset. It doesn't make any sense. I understand that this is a race. We are of different races. There are different opinions, so on and so forth. But it shouldn't be this deep, people. It shouldn't be. But unfortunately, this is where we are. And again, superstars in all professional leagues have been protected because the fans want to see them. But when we start diverting into this type of stuff, that's where I get upset. That's where I lose interest. The focus should be on the basketball court, the playing surface, not on individuals based on their race.
Amen.
Well, it's funny how those people
seriously.
say shut up and dribble,
Amen.
yet they're trying to get involved in sports. Y'all need to just focus on your laws and all the BS you do.
It's our taxpayer money is going. So
Yeah.
I just no, I can't. Do I agree with
It's
every single
the
word you
hypocrisy.
just said? I can't. I just can't. All right, let's move on. I got to shout out Cheryl Reeve as we get into our rants here. Cheryl Reeve, head coach of my Minnesota Lynx, 380 career wins, most all time. Undisputed GOAT of WNBA head coaches. It's not debatable. Okay, it's like Jerry Rice with wide receivers. She's got 4 rings as a head coach, 2 as an assistant with the Shock back in the day with Bill Laimbeer, and the most wins all time. This year, 1 for the thumb, okay, because she's already got 4. And then lastly here, I hate to say it, but I have to. Jason Tatum is corny after all. I tried to defend him. I've been rebelling against this. I was hoping he could beat those allegations. I was unable to beat the allegations earlier today on the show, and I don't think he's going to be able to beat these allegations either. Okay? Jason Tatum spoke with Tim Rowan about Jalen Brown, asked if he has talked to Jalen since the trade. And Jason Tatum said, I can't tell you everything. That's a corny response, dude. Telling us everything would be, yes, I talked to Jalen and we talked about his mom and the vacation he's going to take next week and blah, 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 blah. That's telling everything. Answering the question, did you talk to him, is not telling us everything, bro. It's a corny answer. Here's the correct answer. Of course, me and Jalen have talked. That's my guy. That's my brother. It sucks to see him go, but we had an incredible run together here in Boston. I wish him nothing but the best, except when he plays the Celtics. End quote. That's a pre-programmed knee-jerk. That's ball player press conference 101 right there. But Jason Tatum hit us with what he did. And one more thing. Jason Tatum said he found out about the Jalen Brown trade like everyone else and was unaware of the move, per Tim Rowan. Bullcrap. Stop lying. We know this is not true. Stop insulting our intelligence. Stop being corny. The whole world knows that you knew about Jalen Brown leaving Boston. Everybody knows this, okay? My belief is that Jason Tatum won a power struggle between the two. Unaware? Okay, yeah, just like LeBron James was unaware when the Lakers hired J.J. Redick as their head coach, taking him from being a co-host with LeBron on their podcast together. But LeBron had nothing to do with the hire of J.J. Redick. Stop lying to us. And Jason Tatum, stop being corny. Ashley Neville, it's rant time.
Whew. I don't really know if I have a rant, but we didn't get to cover some of the topics that we were going to cover for the WNBA today. So maybe I could just kind of piggyback off of that and just talk about the WNBA and their expansion. I mean, we take a look at the Valkyries. They're ahead of schedule right now. They're number 3 in the WNBA. They've been cooking. They're one of the best defensive teams in the league right now, from the perimeter and inside. I mean, they're pests. And when you take a look at the WNBA, they're going to go from 12 teams to 18 teams. Just think about that talent pool in the league right now. Again, I say this on every show. If you're not watching the W right now, you are missing out. These girls are so talented, and it's just going to get even better. So that, like I said, they brought in the Golden State Valkyries, then the Toronto Tempo and the Portland Fire. I mean, they're right there. They've been playing well. And then next up, we have Cleveland, Detroit, and Philadelphia for expansion teams. So it is incredible what the W has been able to do over the course of the last couple of years. It has been so exciting. And then I just want to give a shout out to Olivia Miles as a rookie who's making her case for MVP. And that's tough when you're going up against a girl like Asia Wilson, who's not just an MVP, but a defensive player of the year as well, who is a double-double machine every single night. So the fact that Olivia Miles is doing what she's doing as a rookie, continuously keeping Minnesota at the top of the W without Nafisa Collier, their best player, is just incredible. So just shout out to the WNBA, shout out to Olivia Miles and everything that they've been doing. And if you're not watching, y'all better tune in.
And when I get Nafisa Collier back on all my WNBA fantasy teams, y'all are going to be left in the DUST. All right, beat out, what's your rant?
We can't hear you.
You're on mute.
I wanna keep it WNBA. Let's talk about Chennedy Carter and her getting waived by the Aces, because I'm going to be honest, I don't think this is a basketball on the court thing. And I'm not saying that to accuse her of anything specific. I'm saying that because the production does not match the decision. This is somebody who was giving Las Vegas real buckets off the bench. She averaged 12 points in limited minutes, shot the ball extremely well, and at one point looked like she could be in the 6th Woman of the Year conversation. So if we are just talking, are we just talking hoops? Chennedy Carter can play. That part is not up for debate. She can score, she can create, she can put pressure on the rim. She gives you instant offense. And in a league where teams are always looking for bench production, that skill does not just disappear. But this is where the conversation gets uncomfortable. When you keep getting waived, traded, benched, or moved from team to team, and the film still says you can hoop, then at some point people are going to ask what else is going on. Because teams do not usually get rid of productive players just because they are productive. There has to be something else they are weighing. Maybe it's fit. Maybe it's role acceptance. Maybe it is communication. Maybe it is trust. Maybe it is something behind the scenes that we do not fully know. But from the outside looking in, this does not feel like she cannot play basketball. This feels like, can a team trust everything that comes with the basketball? And that is a different conversation because talent gets you in the building, but professionalism, consistency, coachability, and relationships keep you in the building. And that is where Chennedy Carter's career has become confusing. The basketball talent is obvious, but the league keeps telling us through decisions that there is something they are not fully comfortable with. Again, I am not saying she's a bad teammate. I am not saying I know what happened in Vegas. I am not saying we should pile all on her. But I am saying this, at some point when the same movie keeps ending the same way with different teams, people are going to stop asking whether you can play and start asking why teams keep deciding they can live without the production. This ain't a hoop question anymore. This is a trust question.
Again, bravo. What can I say? I just all I can add to that is, to me, it's a huge hit to the Vegas Aces in their quest for a title defense. I mean, Chennedy Carter was a big part of what they were bringing to the wood every night, and now she's gone, and they're missing those 12, 13, 14 points a night. That's a hit. All right, Dwight, what's your rant? And then let's go home.
And I want to continue on the Kennedy Carter conversation here. It's not about basketball, Rick and Ashley. There are issues here that I'm more concerned with that than her play on the court. It's pretty evident that it's not about her production or lack thereof. She produces wherever she has been. I just think there are issues there that she needs to take care of. Look in the mirror, take care of it, because there seem to be issues to where she does become combative with her teammates. She becomes combative with authority, if you will. I'm not going to sit here and say that she's been combative with all of her coaches, but there seems to be situations behind the scenes that we are not privy to, but there has to be reasons as to why she is being let go from all of these teams. When you go to social media and you continue to vent or rant that way, it's not really professionalism to do that, because the team wants to keep their issues in-house. When Teresa Witherspoon, one of my favorite all-time players as a collegian and in the WNBA, and she eventually became a coach in the WNBA, wasn't given a fair shot, as far as I'm concerned. I just think that when she had to reach out to Becky Hammon, the head coach of the Las Vegas Aces, to give Kennedy an opportunity to play, that spoke volumes to me. I think Teresa Witherspoon understood the backlash or the blacklisting that Kennedy Carter was experiencing in the WNBA. And for Becky Hammon and the Las Vegas Aces to make this decision to waive Kennedy Carter, I just think it became beyond reproach for Kennedy. I think Becky Hammon and the Las Vegas Aces as an organization did everything in their power to support Kennedy Carter in her endeavors, through her trials and tribulations, through her issues, and it became too much for them to overcome. I am sure they had the conversation with her and tried to reason with Kennedy to the best of their ability, and it became just too much. So again, this is not about Kennedy, the basketball player. I am here praying and hoping that she finds the resolve that she needs to find. Go out there, get the help that you need. It's all about you, the individual now. Become the best version of yourself. We know that basketball is a major part of your life. And right now you feel like it's been taken away from you. But in order for you to succeed, not only as a basketball player, but to become a better person overall in life, you need to seek the help that you need. Basketball should be put on the back burner right now. We understand. Listen, I'm a basketball lifer myself. I wish I could play today, but this is my outlet right now, and I'm very, very happy to be doing it. But you have to look at yourself in the mirror, take accountability, take responsibility, get the help that you need. So hopefully someday in the future, you can get back on the playing surface where you are most happy. But if you're unhappy in life, it's going to shine through in your personality. And this is to the point to where the Las Vegas Aces and other teams across the WNBA felt it was beyond reproach in regards to Kennedy Carter.
Again, bravo. And when doors continue to shut one after the other, and they're probably not going to reopen for you, okay? And then reputations are developed, and God bless Kennedy Carter. God bless her. We don't know what's going on, but I just, God bless her. And I want to leave it at that. For Ashley Neville, I'm not an influencer, B-Dot. And for Gotham City Bockers player personnel executive Dwight Walton, I am Rick Kamla. The next time we see you, we will be in Las Vegas covering Dr. X's Gotham City Bockers for the tournament, for the basketball tournament, the TBT. So we're super pumped about that. We will see you in Vegas next week. Big thanks to Justin Rowan for joining the show. Big thanks to Jason and Kai for being stalwarts behind the glass as always. And big thanks to you. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, X-Rated Sports Network. The show is Beyond the Surface, and we are out. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you next Thursday.
Yeah, remember the name.